Right, resume review for Nikola. So, header section so far. What I would include here that's completely missing is the role that you're trying to do after. I can see that you have mentioned it here in this section. So that's also fine. Just my personal preference that I would include it in the header section. I just think it's much more helpful that way. Front and center, the first thing that employers and hiring managers see, which would be important. I would remove the LinkedIn URL and just highlight the LinkedIn text and then make this into a hyperlink instead. It just helps to keep it neat rather than to have the raw URL directly. And then you could include this in the top section of your resume, so it's right next to it. Then this, I believe, is like your career objective or what you're trying to do next. So the issue that I have with this so far is it's quite generic. It speaks to some key skills and day-to-day responsibilities that you have, but it doesn't differentiate you from other candidates and or gives the opinion that you are uniquely positioned in a way to be attractive to certain employers that you may be applying to. So I would definitely shift this around, remove all of the keywords and put something more metrics driven. For example, 2 or 3 of your top career highlights should go here. How many years experience you have and the types of roles that you're looking for next for that. This is basically, it's the same again. You just have a list of core competencies, which is basically just a list of skills. I like the fact that they are not generic besides negotiation. I think that's probably the only one that is generic. It's one word. It's not really helpful. The rest seems to be centered around that B2B sales, cold outreach and prospecting, and typically what you would see in a BDR SDR role, and a slight touch on the AE account executive role. So I would instead, if you are going to have this, put it as like skills and make it further down, push it further down your resume, and then also put this into a horizontal list of bullets instead of a long list of vertical skills, because you lose all of this white space is just open and it makes your resume look quite empty. Professional experience section. So I see you have the title followed by the company name, location. You just have the text present here, whereas it should technically show the year and or month or year of when you started with a dash present instead. And okay, it's your only role, so that's fine. But what I would say is there is no need to put in a ton of stuff. You don't need to put in your day-to-day responsibilities and your key achievements. I think you should just include your key achievement. Because it's only one role, I think it's fine for you to have 4 or 5 bullet points. In most cases, I recommend 3 or 4 per role. But because this is the only role that you've got listed here, then you should mention probably 4 to 5. But the bullets shouldn't be focused on what you do day to day. So managing sales pipeline activities isn't something that should appear. It should instead be more impact driven. So, for example, it could speak more to what your open rates are like when you are sending out outreach emails. But the typical size of lists that you tend to reach out to. Obviously, when you're doing a sales role, it's not a case of just blasting to 10,000 people, but having smaller lists of several hundred that you're reaching out to. You could speak to how you do prospecting and how you're able to get a higher reply rate through your prospecting, and what the average prospecting reply rates and CTR rates tend to look like compared to the results that you're getting. I think showing this is really much more impactful to a hiring manager and employers who are looking to differentiate between you and somebody else. Education's fine, language is fine as well. I don't have any comments on here, just besides putting the year which you acquired that education, that particular degree. You should mention that. And then as for the skills, I think remove all the Microsoft stuff. I just think it's not really relevant in this day and age. I think LinkedIn, be specific. If you're a salesperson, I presume you're using LinkedIn Navigator. So be specific there. CRM systems, be specific about the CRMs. Is it HubSpot? Is it Salesforce? Which ones? And then AI productivity tools, again, be specific. Are you using Claude? Are you using OpenAI ChatGPT? Just need to add some more specificity to it. And I think this will make this a much better and improved resume. And that's pretty much it. I'm just going to check to see if there's anything else that I have in my notes here for you to mention. Let's see. Yeah, good point. So for the key achievements where you focus on how you speak to the fact that you've expanded international business networks across Europe, Africa, Asia, and Middle East. In short, you're saying EMEA. You need to include some kind of metrics here. So, for example, you should mention about the number of active partner relationships that you've had or that you've built. And if you don't have those numbers available, then use the nearest honest proxy per for those roles, if you don't have those hard metrics. So for example, number of markets entered, number of proposals sent, if need be, emails, meetings booked, that sort of thing, the deal sizes, maybe how you've been able to reduce the deal cycle in terms of how the number of days it takes for the deal to close. Those things are pretty key and pretty important. But everything else is fine as it stands. But in its current position, you probably won't be able to compete with others who have a similar years of experience whilst doing the same role, because you haven't mentioned the impact. So if you implement these changes that I've recommended, and then you should start to see your results improve in this area. But that's pretty much it. I hope this helps, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. Bye.